Hi everyone, this is Bill Milford and I'm here to talk with you about the professional progression in social work. Why? Because social work matters. As my t-shirt says, it matters that you are a social worker and it matters that you are going into this profession and that you know what you're getting yourself into as we walk this walk together. So the first thing I want to do is help you focus in on where you're at right now. Now, if you're coming into this program with an AA, then that AA gives you 60 credits approximately. You might have more or less. And that means that in order to complete your degree, which is a BSW or a Bachelor of Social Work degree, you need 60 more credits in order to do that. And that graduation means you get your degree when you get 120 credits total. So if you're coming into the program with less than 60 credits or a different kind of degree, then this may vary a little bit. However, most people are coming in, if you have an AA, you have at least 60 credits. And this is how you get the rest of those other 60 credits in order to receive your degree. Now, in a separate recording, we talked about the EPOS and the CSWE competencies. They are what you need to do and learn in order to become a good social worker. In order to do that, they are distributed throughout the social work curriculum. So each of the classes that you take in the social work program are going to help you meet one of those competencies. And then in your senior year, when you're out actually in the field at a field agency, that's where you're going to actually practice those competencies out with real clients. So the whole program starts off with doing the intro to social work, and that gives you an overview of the social work profession, which goes from micro to macro, from babies to the elderly, from dealing with direct practice to doing policy work with people. So the Intro to Social Work program should get you an idea of all the various things that you can do when you have your degree, and especially when you have your MSW. Then you'll have the cultural diversity, which helps meet the diversity competency that's in the EPOS. Then we have social work ethics, which helps to meet the ethical competency. And then we have our generalist practice 1, which is with social work with individuals, and that will help you meet the competencies of 6, 7, 8, and 9 in terms of how you engage, assess, intervene, and evaluate with individuals, families, groups, and communities and organizations. So that's your first step into it. And so that's generally the first semester that people have. If you're coming in the second semester, then you make up some of these classes. You take Intro to Social Work during the spring, and you make up these other classes during the summer. However, that's generally our fall curriculum. Then on top of that, you can take an elective if you need the extra credits to have 15 credits a semester. Then in the spring semester, you will be taking human behavior in the social environment, and that is the ultimate, and for shorthand we call this HIBSE. That is the ultimate PI class. That talks about looking at a person in their environment and all the factors that go along with it, but it also helps bring in all of the theories that help us to understand people at that particular point in their life. So it's sort of like a psychology lifespan development class interspersed with social work theory that goes along with that. We also have social work practice with families, and so that's the second iteration in the practice sequence, and that's going to again, utilize those competencies of engagement, assessment, intervention, and evaluation that we'll learn about in that class. Then we have social welfare policy, and that's a macro-based class. And social welfare policy is going to deal with the big issue programs like Medicaid, Medicare, the Affordable Health Care Act, unemployment. These are what we call safety net programs, and they're called safety nets because they're designed that if you have trouble in life, they're there to help catch you. The original intent of them was to stop people from falling into poverty when they hit like a road bump in life. It wasn't meant to sustain people at a low level. It was meant to be something that they could utilize to help them get through hard times, to bounce back and get themselves going again. So social welfare policy involves both learning about those programs and learning how to do the advocacy piece of the social work competencies, to learn about legislation, to learn about lobbying, and to understand the process by which big picture decision making is done that can influence people's lives and the way people live. And then the last class is research and program evaluation. And so that's really the key piece, especially moving on to graduate school, where many of your papers are going to need to be have multiple sources to them. You're going to use research and program evaluation to understand how to read research and how to write research. Because remember, the competency regarding this is to utilize practice-informed research and research-informed practice. There be a connection between what you do with others, that it be based upon evidence-based practice and the best knowledge that we know about something, that you want to use that first. That's your ethical first choice, is to help people using what other people have done. And then for you, if you discover other good ways to help people, for you to have the skills to be able to share that with other professionals so they can use your practice experience in order for them to enhance what they do with other folks. And again, if you need it, then there's an elective that goes here. If you are in our fast track program and you began in the spring, then during the summer, you'll take the cultural diversity class, and you will take ethics and social work practice with individuals. And that catches you up so that you are caught up with the students who started in the previous fall. So then in the senior year, let me see if we can scoot this up a little bit. In the senior year, after completing all of these foundation classes, you are then doing your practicum. And your practicum counts for 2 classes, 6 credits, but you have to be able to put in 14 hours a week, which is going to equal about 200 hours for the semester at a non-profit agency with a BSW or MSW. And that practicum, this is your internship. This is what's also, again, just commonly termed an internship. In social work, they consider the practicum to be the signature pedagogy. That means the unique way that you learn about things. So by being at this agency for, it can be 2 8-hour days, it can be 4 4-hour days, it all depends on what you work out with the agency and with our field coordinators that works for them. You get some real life experience working with clients, working under the guidance of a social worker, and being able to see over time, because you'll be there for 2 semesters, so you'll be there from September to May, you'll see really in the life cycle of the agency a lot of things that go on. Fundraising, budget times, how they manage influxes of clients, or what they do when they're looking for clients, how they do publicity, what their marketing is like. All of these aspects of the agency you'll be looking at, because your job, which you're going to be learning about in seminar, which is 3 credits, is to be able to find the 9 competencies and practice them at the agency. So this is all involved in what's called your learning plan that you'll be doing with your field seminar instructor. The ultimate goal of seminar is to take what you've learned in these classes and be able to bring them, make them come alive in your work that you do actually at the agency. Then you continue to do your practice classes. So you do practice social work, practice with groups, and that's another 3 credits. And then if you need it, you take an elective. So this is all happening in the fall, but it's exactly the same what you'll be doing in the spring, except you'll have practicum for 6 credits. You'll have seminar for 3 credits, and you'll have, this time you'll have social work practice with communities and organizations. And this class will focus in again on sort of those macro issues, the bigger picture issues. That is, if you have a bunch of individual clients who all have problems in the same area, let's say they're all depressed because they're unemployed, well, you can try to help everybody with their depression. However, it might be useful to try to address the issue of unemployment in your community and how you might be able to change that. So social work practice with communities and organizations, again, uses those foundations of the competencies: engagement, assessment, intervention, and evaluation, and utilizes that with working with communities and organizations. And here you're writing grants and you're doing a community project, and all sorts of different kinds of assessments that are really quite cool. So practicum, seminar, and then if you need it again, that would be, you take an elective, and hopefully that gets you to the promised land of 120 credits, and that will get you graduation. Yeah. Now, once you've completed all of these pieces, then you may wish to go on for another degree. The next degree up the feeding chain here is the Master's in Social Work, or Masters of Social Work, or typically called the MSW. I actually have an MSSW, so but MSW is the more common way that you phrase it. And this MSW only takes 1 year if, I'll put that in big letters, if you are granted advanced standing. Because normally an MSW is a 2-year program of study. However, for people coming from CSWE approved BSW programs, you can apply for this advanced standing. The advanced standing is not guaranteed for anybody. You could get accepted into an MSW program and they'll say, we'll take you in, but you're going to need to do the normal MSW track, which takes 2 years. However, I encourage students to do well in their BSW, get good references, both from your instructors and from especially from your field people. And for our program, for everybody who's gone to Florida State, all of those folks have received advanced standing from Florida State. Now, do all of them get in? Maybe not. But those who do get in all get advanced standing, which shaves your amount of time and saves you money, very importantly, down to 1 year. Basically what they take off are all of your practice classes and intro to social work. So those equal about your 15 credits, and then you're focusing more in on a specialty area in your advanced standing program that you want to learn about. If you get into the normal MSW program, then you'll have more of an introduction to the profession, plus a bunch of those practice classes coming back at you again. Now, after you get your MSW, if you want to go for further academic degrees, then you can go for a PhD in social work, and that is a doctorate of philosophy in social work. And that is largely a research degree, meaning that you've taken a particular topic and you've done a doctoral study on that topic and researched it and demonstrated to the profession that you are a scholar in that particular area. There also is a degree called a DSW, which is a Doctor of Social Work. And that DSW is largely a practice degree, meaning that you gained a level of expertise and understanding in a given area of practice, of clinical practice with clients, and that you are an expert in that area. And both of these degrees are largely for people who want to go into academic areas of teaching or doing additional research. Coming back up here to the MSW, often what people will pursue after getting their MSW is the LCSW, which is the licensed clinical social worker. And an LCSW is an important credential. This is not an educational degree, but a license that you are able to get after you've had 1,000 hours of client contact and you've had at least 100 hours of clinical supervision from another LCSW. After that, you have to learn state ethics laws, because there may be specific laws pertaining to whatever state you want to practice in, and you need to learn about those. And then you study for an exam, and it's like a 2-3 hour exam, and you take the exam, and once you've passed it, then you are given your license. Once you get your license, you are able to private practice. You're able to have your own private practice and and create your own business where you can diagnose and treat clients. Very importantly, LCSWs in agencies are the ones who are able to approve treatment plans. The MSWs are able to write treatment plans, but they have to get approved. And BSWs are largely responsible for case management, which means that you are following a treatment plan that somebody else has written. So all of these particular pieces are important for you to know in terms of your progression into the profession. You're going to want to make sure that you know where you're going, know where you're at right now. This is the degree that you're trying to obtain. Here are the things that you need to learn in the big picture. here are the classes that are used in order to teach you those things. In your senior year, you're going out and you're practicing these competencies at these agencies. Your seminar class helps you to understand how all of these theories apply to your practicum experience that you're having. And then this gets you to the promised land of your graduation with 120 credits. Hopefully after that, you'll think about going for your MSW. It's an awesome degree. It's very well respected in the human service profession. And if you've done well in your BSW program with us, hopefully you can apply and get advanced standing at whatever university you apply to. If you do that, 1 year. After you get your MSW, you can start working at an agency, and we encourage you to find an agency that can provide you this supervision so that you can get your 100 hours of clinical supervision from an LCSW as you are having your client contact at the agency. This generally takes about 2 years. So then after 2 years, you take the exam, and hopefully you're able to obtain your LCSW if that's what you choose to do. Again, the LCSWs are able to write treatment plans. The MSWs can write them, but they have to get them signed off on, just kind of like a nurse or a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant, depending on the level of the work that they're doing, have to get a doctor to sign off on the medical plans that they put together. So do the MSWs and the BSWs. You're doing case management. You can do individual and group work, but you're following a treatment plan that's been created by these other professionals. If you want to go on further after that, you can pursue a PhD or doctorate in social work. It generally takes 3 to 5 years, depending on how motivated and the topic that you're dealing with. Or you can go for a DSW, and again, that can take another 3 to 5 years. So that's the progression. Any questions about it, let me know. This is very important stuff for you to know, both for your practice ability, but for your professional growth as a social worker. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.